much for that great introduction, but more importantly, thank you for everything that you're doing for the people of Alexandria, and I can't thank you enough for your service and commitment. And good afternoon, everyone. Hello. It is great to be here for so many reasons. It's a beautiful day. It's a great restaurant. It's wonderful to visit with you. Adam and I are friends. We've been mutual supporters for a long time, and I'm really glad to be here to show my support for him. And I would like to tell you about some of the reasons why I'm so excited that he is running for re-election, why we need to re-elect him. But I hope you'll give me a few minutes to say a few things about what's going on in the Attorney General's office right now first. I am really proud of what our team has been able to do in the last 15 or 16 months since we took office, like helping to bring marriage equality to Virginia. I know many of you have followed the story, but 12 days after taking office, I changed the state's position in the Virginia marriage equality cases, and not only would not defend Virginia's marriage ban, but joined with the plaintiffs to argue that that discriminatory ban needed to be struck down. And for that there were bills filed to impeach me, an effort to get me disbarred, but the judge agreed with us. And we won in a federal district court in Norfolk. And then we won again in the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, and the Supreme Court allowed that decision to stand. And since that time, over 1,500 same-sex couples have married in Virginia. Thousands more have had their marriages that were performed in other states recognized, and children are now getting the legal protections they need and deserve. And it was a great feeling to be in the Supreme Court, to hear the oral arguments this past week. As you know, as proud as we are as Virginians of what our forefathers contributed to democracy in America, like Jefferson and Madison and Mason and so many others, there were some times when Virginia's Attorney General went to the Supreme Court and argued on the wrong side of key major landmark civil rights cases in the past. But this time, I was there on behalf of Virginians and standing up for the equal rights for all Virginians, and it's a great feeling. We've also done a lot to make sure that all of our students have a better opportunity for an affordable college education. And a lot of students, a lot of universities, and a lot of people in the business community were asking me, to take a look at the in-state tuition law, and I did. And what I saw was that because of the action that the President took in 2012 on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA, that the Dreamers, the children of immigrants, were now lawfully present in the United States, and those who are in Virginia can establish domicile, which is what you need in Virginia to establish in-state tuition. And I will never forget that announcement at the, I think it was the Alexandria campus. Were you there? You were there for that. Where I announced that so many Dreamers were there in tears because of what it meant to them to be able to get an affordable education in their home state. And it has been a great feeling from time to run into some of those students. Just last month there was Hokie Day at the General Assembly. About 100 students were visiting the Capitol that day, and I spoke with them for a while, and we took some pictures, and one student kind of dropped back as everybody was starting to leave, and he just walked up and he thanked me for what we did on helping the Dreamers get in-state tuition in Virginia. And he said he was one. He grew up in Chesterfield County. Now he's a freshman at Virginia Tech. And if it hadn't been for that, the out-of-state tuition would have been out of reach for him and his family. And now he is beginning to climb the ladder of success. We'll be joining Virginia's skilled workers and entrepreneurs in the future. So that's a great thing for him. Brian mentioned a number of things that we're doing on the public safety front. We are really trying to tackle some difficult public safety issues. The heroin and prescription drug abuse spike that we've seen the last few years has been challenging, but we have developed a number of strategies to try to turn that around. We are working on finding concrete ways to stop sexual assault on our college campuses. As many of you know, I chair a governor's task force on coming up with needed reforms, and we are on track to produce a good report by June 1st. And in addition to concrete steps to try to make sure that we don't have any sexual assaults on college campuses, one of the things that I want all Virginia students to know is that if it does happen and they report an incident of sexual assault on college campuses, that they are not going to be treated with suspicion or be judged, but rather they're going to be treated with the respect and the compassion that they deserve. So now you can see why I feel so proud of what our team has been able to accomplish. And you know, these are not just independent hodgepodge decisions or random decisions and actions that we've taken, but rather they're connected. And I think we are really showing Virginians just what an Attorney General can do for them. And that means standing up and fighting for people who may not have necessarily had the kind of advocacy they needed from the Attorney General's office, but now they do. And I want to thank you for all of your help and support. All of those things that I talked about, none of them would have even been possible if it hadn't been for all of the hard work and effort you put in back in 2013 to help me get elected. And I'm sure you all remember it wasn't just during the campaign and on election day. It was during the canvass and the recount after that, and I will never forget all of the hard work. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, because I am asking you to work as hard as you possibly can to re-elect Adam Ebbin. As I said, Adam and I have been friends and mutual supporters for a long time, but he is also a tremendous leader. He introduced the version of the DREAM Act, I think probably 10 years ago or more. He has been on the forefront of advocating for clean energy and renewable energy. He has been a tremendous advocate for LGBT rights. I mean, these are issues that show true leadership. He stood with me on important legislation this year to fight, you know, the two of us and others to fight for lower utility bills and greater transparency in reporting of utility profits. So those are things that show real leadership. I think it's a little bit too soon to know whether he's going to have an opponent yet or not. But if he does, I need to ask you to work as hard as you possibly can for him in every way you can. And if not, your help and support will help him go out and campaign for other Senate candidates that we need. We've got a great opportunity not only to pick up a number of House of Delegate seats, because we've got some great candidates, but we're going to have some really tough fights in the Senate. We've got a great opportunity to get a majority back in the Senate that is absolutely critical. And I see my friend and former colleague, Barbara Favola, who I would agree with her. She's doing a great job too, but I think both Adam and Barbara would agree that we need some reinforcements to get back in the majority. So I want to thank you for all of your help and support, and let's get Adam re-elected to the Senate.